I want to talk to next Keith, who is calling in from, what's the ME state tag? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Keith, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Florida.
From Florida.
But, my number is Maine, so that's probably
that's what it is. Maine. Silly Maine. What?
Yeah.
ME for Maine? Really? That's the... Okay, whatever. I didn't come up with that system, but that's...
MA is Massachusetts. MI is Mississippi. MN, Minnesota. ME is all
yeah, you're right. Wow, you knew that too. Like, you knew all the state. That's crazy. I've been doing this call-in show thing for like 2 years now, and I still am not confident that I know all of the state little letters, and I really should. But anyway, that's another thing. Keith, what's going on?
Hey, I wanted to talk to you guys, especially whereas you have Reid here on for representing the street epistemology at large. I wanted to talk about the ethics of street epistemology. I know that there has been some controversy over the ethics. There's the larger concern that it might be too manipulative of people. There's also the concern that there's nothing that street epistemology can really lead you to. It can only lead you away. So what should we be thinking about with the ethical concerns there of street epistemology?
I definitely have some thoughts on this, but Reid, as president of SE International, do you have a response?
Sure. I don't know what manipulate means potentially in this claim. Like, any interaction between two people when you're talking about something you disagree about, or obviously seem to be on different sides on. The implicit assumption is that you're going to usually argue about it. So it's usually very obvious that you are on different sides, and you want the other person to change their mind and come to whatever you believe is true. That's just an implicit assumption in most conversations, and it should be the same probably in SE conversations as well. But SE is also wanting to deliberately keep our views out of it. As you said on the last conversation, I didn't make any claims myself. I just asked questions.
Nope.
And if someone wants to ask my opinion, I'm free to say so, or say ideally I want to keep it on your own claim for now, and you can ask me at the end of the conversation. You can feel free to flip it. I'll answer any question you want to talk about. I'd like to know what specifically you see in SE conversations as manipulative, and there's also the other leads away and not to thing as well. We can get into that after the manipulation claim.
Well, I would also point out as well that, Adam, and again, we didn't ask him his confidence level or anything, but he didn't seem like he was phased in his beliefs at all, even afterwards. Even after evaluating what his beliefs were, he seemed still the same level of confidence. In fact, he even said, well, like, yeah, I hypothetically, I want to say yes, that my beliefs would change if I found this argument not to be true. But I know this argument is true. Like, it's impossible for it not to be true, which is another claim we could have evaluated. And if we had more time, might have been interesting to go down. But yeah, like, I didn't see any manipulation there. It's kind of just asking questions about beliefs. Again, like, can you ask leading questions? Can you badger the witness? Yeah, I think so. But, a lawyer can do that. That doesn't mean the act of a lawyer asking a witness questions is necessarily a manipulation, although, it can be if you're not asking good kinds of questions. But SE is all about asking good questions. So anyway, that's my thoughts because we've talked about it a bit before, this idea of questioning the ethics of these conversations. And yes, it's something you should definitely consider. You should definitely consider your motivation behind asking questions like this, for sure. In this context, it's for making a show here for YouTube. But in a personal context, I don't know. There's definitely conversations I've had with people where it's like, I want to change your mind on this because I think this belief is dangerous. And I might give my own opinions and thoughts. But if I'm giving my own opinions and thoughts, I'm going outside of, would be considered SE proper for most practitioners. So anyway, what's your thoughts, Keith?
Well, I mean, for the claims of manipulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, that you're a politician. You have a green side and a yellow side, so we're staying away from real politics. You're
Okay.
a politician for the green side. So you, when you hear positive claims about the yellow side, you use street epistemology to make people question the positive claims about the yellow side. By positive, I mean good things that people like. Whereas every time you hear anything negative about the green side, you use street epistemology to bring to convince them, to help them convince themselves that the claims against the green side, the negative claims, are not real. So now you are trying to basically manipulate people into lower opinion of the yellow side and raising their opinion of the green side by being selective as to what claims you are questioning. Because the street epistemology method can be used for literally any claim.
Reid, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got a few videos on my channel where I question atheists about their reasons for believing that there is no God, and I use basically the same structure and method of street epistemology to have them question their own confidence that no gods exists. And also part of it is coming up with potential criteria that would revise their confidence. We didn't get that with the past caller, but that's usually another part of SE. We want to, this is a process for like a higher principle. It's not about specific positions. It's about being reasonable and open to changing your mind and being open to hearing people out, being as intellectually, honest as possible, epistemically humble. And we want to model these, epistemic virtues in SE conversations so that if this grows in the culture, we'll be more likely to be able to defend ourselves against false beliefs and harmful beliefs out there for ourselves individually, and also collectively become more reasonable and believe more true things, less false things, as a society.
Yeah, and obviously, I admit my biases here because I am friends with Reid and I enjoy street epistemology, and it's had a huge impact on my life. But I also don't think that there's any kinds of questions being asked in street epistemology that you wouldn't hear in a college level class on philosophy. Honestly, like I don't think that the types of questions we're asking are going to, actually manipulate people one way or the other. I think what's really happening is when that change of mind is happening, it's just putting their brains at a place that they hadn't been before, because nobody had ever asked them questions like that about their own beliefs. And maybe they hadn't had the time to think and reflect on why somebody thinks the way they do. Like this week, I had a conversation with somebody in my workplace about they found out that their nephew is displaying some feminine tendencies, and they're worried that their 8-year-old nephew is gay. Now, I don't know why you should be worried about that. I don't see personally the harm, even if your 8-year-old is gay, whatever. Because I'm 25 and I'm doing a show at the atheist community of Austin. Like, come on, like it's just. We talk about these kind of LGBT issues all the time. We're pretty woke to that here. It even if a kid turns out to be gay, that doesn't mean anything to be. And I would want the parent or uncle in this case to be supportive. But this person I was talking to was actually worried about the implications of their nephew being gay. So I did have a conversation with them and asked them, well, let's say that they do turn out to be gay. What is the harm with that? What are you worried about it? What is the conclusion being drawn here if it turns out to be gay? And they're worried like, they might get bullied or they're going to live a life that's harder for them. And I asked them like if they thought if there's any moral implications to this, and these kinds of questions I'm asking, these aren't even strictly SE questions, but these are questions that at some point needs to be asked for the well-being of that kid and also for the person I'm talking to. Like, that's me stepping out on my own moral principles and my own values, choosing to have a conversation like this. But like I, as a human being, have a right to do that, period. And, SE, if anything, has only aided me in that purpose. in trying to be a good human being to other human beings. And it would be weird to turn that around and say that, oh, you could use SC to make the opposite happen, to make a situation like that even worse. Now, if anything, SC has taught me what kinds of good questions I could be asking in order to evaluate somebody's beliefs and see if I could, ask questions to for them to think about things that they hadn't thought about before. Like, yeah, what is the logical conclusion of your nephew being gay? Like, what does that really mean for you? So anyway, this is my 2 cents on the topic. And just very weird that I'm still having conversations with people about this kind of thing. I keep thinking, oh, we're better as a society about this now. No, we're not. There's still a lot of homophobia and a lot of, awful stuff that happens to people in these communities, especially children, apparently. So yeah, long-winded rant there. But Keith, am I making sense here?
Yeah. I'm so understand. I am not like diametrically opposed to SE or anything like that. I find it interesting. I find it compelling. I just feel concerned that whereas you can literally use SE to cast doubt on any claim, even true claims.
Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true.
That it could be used in a manipulative way. Not that the people of SE are, but that it could be used. And should we be concerned about that?
Yeah, there's a whole module in our new SE development course coming soon this summer or later this year about ethics, in general. We have a whole module on ethics. We have a whole list of topics we're going to be talking about. I don't have them on my notes right here exactly, but we do talk about when should we give our own opinion, when should we be more strong in our questions about certain claims, should we try to make people doubt things that we think are like virtually certain to be good things for people to hold and things that are virtually certain to be true. It's like we're going to be discussing this in the course development process, and we also have a Discord and a channel about SE ethics in general, and we talk about this all the time, and there's we're still discussing these things, so it's good to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. But Keith, this is all the time we have for this particular call. We got to move on to some other callers. Thanks so much for calling in to talk about it, because this question keeps coming up all the time when we talk about SE, as far as the ethics. I think it's come up in more recent years than when I first got involved with it. And it's important. I think it is important. It's annoying because, we've kind of talked about it a lot. But I can definitely see from an outsider's perspective how you might get the impression that this could be harmful. And Keith made a great point. You can be not as confident in things that are actually true because of this method. And that's very, very good point. And I think the logical conclusion to that is, well, then we should find good reasons to believe in the things that are true. Or maybe the things that we thought were true weren't actually as true as we thought because of this method. And this method can reveal that. So it's really interesting.